of Madolche for you. We also have Whitewood good stuff. And is that Centurion? Okay. Make sure you guys smash the link, crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more on this content. Now, I've heard a lot of requests out here. A lot of people have been want to see more Madolche. Give me more candy treats. Well, we're working with what we've been seeing out here. The deck has been decently successful. I will say that. The ratios on this list are a little bit more teched out for depending on, your localized area. So, you have 2/2s on the hand traps that can kind of give you some consistency as well. You do see, 2 Nibiru's in here as well. But they're also playing 2 crossouts. So basically being able to spread out the hand traps gives you a little bit more space, makes the consistency feel a little bit better along the way, which is actually an extremely good thing. I also see we are playing small worlds in here. Let's call this what this is, with all of the diversity and options that you have, being able to small world for a common factor to get to literally any piece that you're going to need for your combo. I understand why people opt to play this now. Also, the main decking, the Feather Duster, is kind of nice. Post-side decking down here, we are playing the 1 copy of your Butler, being able to, toggle in for this stupid card. It's pretty good. We'll always just say that. Also, we're only playing 1 copy of the Tiara Frege. I don't know how I feel about this. I think 2 is typically more of what people want to see, but I guess the logic here is if Madolche is going longer than, the point that you're expecting, then it feels like you're going to have some issues, So I think for the most part, 1 is fine. Outside of that, most of your tech choices, double alpha is pretty cool. The trap trick to bring out dimensional barriers, or, maybe the promenades or imperms, I think does work out relatively nicely for you. So you got a lot of interesting choices here, but that's fine. All right, Madolche definitely has room for the deck building. Woo, we have Whitewoods. Now, this is not Whitewood Runic. This is not any of the extra fat stuff that we have been seeing out here with a lot of these builds. We're just doing the main line of things here. So basically, instead of clumping down on like the cards that necessarily don't feel good, you're just going to feed the toy box with the toy tank and the soldier here, and you're going to use these as generic extending options so you can set up your main lines of play. Within those main lines, I see that we are choosing to play the top hat hair, so we can actually bring out the Silo hat, which is extremely good, by the way. I know a lot of people look at this card and they're like, hey, I don't really want to play this, but let's call it what it is here. You've got a lot of in-house illusion monsters at your access. Well, at least this one. The rest of these aren't really going to matter all that much. I mean, to be fair, though, if you end on a top hat hair plus this, this is turning into a double-sided negate, right? So that's kind of something worth exploring for the value for this. I do like that a lot. Of course, Chicken Game also being a free fuel and a free draw for this deck is actually pretty gosh darn good. Outside of that, the Manadium reframing has also kind of moved into this deck as an important tool. Being able to make the Vice of Synchro, be able to get to this, and then you have, the effective negate up and running for you is also going to be pretty strong. Also only dedicating 2 Pyres maps to this. I think that this is fine. Card is really good when it needs to be, but you've got to remember that if you do open up 2 of these, that's why they're playing the 2. You don't want to have to see the dead brick, but to be fair, it's not like, we can't feed off of these and then be able to have them as a little extension points so you can do your thing. Okay, next up here, we have Centurion. Now remember, we do get Autry here. Now, if this card you control would be used as a synchro material, you can also treat it as a non-tuner, and you can use each of the following effects of Autry once per turn. So on normal or special, and you have both an emblem card and a Centurion card in your graveyard, for the rest of this turn, you get to draw a card, and then you can only special summon one of these, blah, blah, blah. And during the main phase of this card, or if this card is a continuous trap card, you can special summon it. We care about, with Emblem here, and, you know, the secondary condition of this, it's a free draw card. Like, do not underestimate having that value present for this card. I know a lot of people initially looked at this and like, hey, you know, like, this isn't too good, but don't underestimate draw power in this deck. So the rest of this deck, you do see we are pretty Horused out of our mind here. I think this is a pretty important thing to kind of look at here along the way, is the value that this is getting. I mean, you're dedicating a full 5, 6, or 5, 8, 11 cards to this package just to be able to toggle through and do your thing. Like, that's a lot to think about right now. Okay, sure. I guess you are really just committing to the Horus package. You also do see we are side decking the Phalanx and the True Awakening. That's kind of interesting. Not even having access to these to be able to search off of the Oxwilla, in my opinion, is a little bit of an interesting call. But I mean, just having the Legatia to do your thing is fine. You do see the Crimson Dragon with the King Calamity here. The standard of play. Also, free stupid value on the Giant Trainer, by the way. Taking your opponent to bat for all the free advantage that you can actually get out of the pinball machine seems pretty good. Outside of that, very nice take on Centurion. I think it's nice to see some differences in things. And okay, what else we got back here? Ooh, we have a Soulfolk or a Melodious list for you here. Now, I'm not gonna lie. When I was initially looking at, you know, new stuff, you would figure in terms of deck building that, you know, maybe this deck would approach the idea of playing the Dominus Purge because, you know, you're all white. Like, your exceptions to the light rule are obviously the Ash Blossom and the Droll, I guess. Like, those are the only things we care about. I mean, extra deck, I mean, oh no, like SP, you know, Haggard and the Gravity, just to be able to free up some of it. And then, of course, your Earth. Everything else is going to be light for what you want to be considering. So, to not see Dominus Purge in this was kind of interesting. We are also side decking the Tom Tom. I always love the idea of being able to play the Poly with the Tom Tom. But in terms of the consistency side of things, you got to remember that you cannot afford to dedicate the Poly anymore. You need your deck to be as optimized and, unfortunately, as consistent as it can be, and we can't afford the slots anymore. Like, that's just the downside of things. This is also interesting too. We are actually playing a Shadow Imprisoning Mirror in here. I did not think that we would see Shadow Imp at all as a tech choice here. This is an entirely interesting creature to see, and I feel like, based on how your locals experience goes and your deck building, you need to be able to see this card going second. But we might be at the point in our dueling careers now that Shadow Imp might be an actually decent floodgate right now, just to be able to lock out people from playing the game. So this is going to be something to kind of keep an eye on here and see, maybe this is actually going to do something. In our last list here, we have, well, this has been dubbed the Ice Barrier pile. Just kidding. It is literally, you play 2 cards in this just so that you'll be able to do your thing. And I was telling people, it's like, hey, you know, it's really cool that you can make Herald in this. And people are like, how do you make Herald? 2 plus 2 equals a Herald. I don't know why people don't understand that. Level 4 Synchro is pretty good, but most of the time, you know, you're going to be pseudo-locked along the way, so achieving that Herald's going to be a little bit more of an issue than you would think. 1 Meow Mine is fine. We are doing the ever-so-loving Cyberse Gadget package in here, so you can get the free little revive and continue on along with your day. Outside of that, I mean, all of your pieces are pretty good. I do love the Meow Mine. Like, actually maximizing on this card as a 2-of feels incredibly good. I do see 2 SP Little Knights. Well, that's interesting. I did not expect to see that. See, we're also playing the Gamma Burst here for the OTK. And I see we're doing the Ninja Shadow Mosquito, the Djinn Buster. And actually, we dusted off the Onimaru Soul Sweeper here as well for an extra little card. So we have some tech choices here. That's pretty cool to see. I'll take this. Outside of that, we have some cool little options here. I definitely like the idea of all of these decks and how things are going, but please take some time, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.